Hello, hello. So here we are for the Oracle deck card reading for March 3rd through March 9th. So I love this card that I pulled today for this week. It's not a card that I pull very often, which is really interesting. And it took me a hot minute to figure out how this is supposed to be landing for all of you. But the card is Animal Soul Friends. So let's see how pretty that is. This again is the card deck Angelic Lightwork Healing Oracle by Elena Fairchild. So I love this card personally because it's very specific and meaningful to me. Some of you have met my little Poppy. She's come in on us a couple of times. So I have this little dog named Poppy. She came to me right about the time that I started this journey of trying to figure out what I was doing with this business, what I'm supposed to be doing, what is my calling, knowing that there's some purpose here, but not knowing what it is. And she has sort of traveled with me through some of that as I've spent time in the woods trying to think through and process and understand as I've gone on my own little personal retreats. She's gone with me on those. For me, as soon as I hit this card, I know that this is about my relationship with this cute little dog. Also, she is so much like me, a little bit obnoxious when she wants to be, but also at her core, she really cares about taking care of everybody else, which just we're built the same. We're like, little T-Rexes, like little tanks. And so I love that about her. And I love the little relationship that I have with her. So for me, that's how it lands. For you, not so much. And like I said, it took me a minute to figure out exactly where I was supposed to be going with this. And I think that I need to come at it from a couple of different angles. So if you go over to my March blog, which I just posted, I think 2 days ago, you're going to see that I really struggled also with the March blog because there were just so many topics that are coming at me. And I feel like there's a lot of chaos in the world right now. And there's a lot of chaos up here right now because of everything else that's happening. And I think that chaos is coming from a lot of different places. So it's, where the chaos I think is coming from has a lot to do with the hippie woo, the alignments of the planets and all of the, like, the astrology and astronomy and all of those sorts of things. Not my forte, but I know that there's some stuff there. Also, I think that, at least for those of us in the United States, this is an election year, and that to me means chaos because we tend to lean in a little too hard on the hate and the hate mongering when we're doing this rather than just, letting things sit or letting statements sit. We feed into the hate and the hate mongering. And so that leads to what I think a lot of people are feeling right now, and that is this intensity around exaggerated feelings and chaos and being just feeling chaotic. I think there's a lot of anger and there's a lot of drama and just a lot of not positive feelings. And so I think for us, and what this card means is how do we move through that? And again, through a couple of different angles. If you think about, or if you have ever spent any time meditating, and this is one of my things that I love meditating. So if you spend any time in extended meditation, it's almost the same thing. And you have dogs around you, you might notice that dogs are drawn to meditation. And it is, at first, I thought it was the music that they were drawn to because I often listen to either a guided meditation or music or something along those lines. And so I thought they were drawn to that. But then I realized whether I was listening to it out loud or had earbuds in, they're still drawn and they still want to spend time in that space. And so there's an energy or a vibe that they're picking up that they want to be in. So if you think about how a lot of these dogs will behave, especially the ones that I've come into contact, because some of these have been my dogs and some that are dogs I'm just spending time with and they're not necessarily mine. And I've seen the same thing. So, they'll be obnoxious, they'll go play hard, they'll have a really good time, but then they recognize and embrace this time for quiet and to take care of themselves and to settle down and to just be calm and quiet. So, think about downward dog, right? The yoga position downward dog is exactly the position a dog comes into when they're coming out of rest. So, in some ways, they know how to do this even better than we do. And again, are just drawn into that energy and taking care of themselves. And I really appreciate that. But again, I will just be in meditation and find dogs that had been in different spaces of the house and just recognize and understand what I'm doing and just come and lay with me while I'm doing it. And so it's really fun to watch how that happens. So I think there's some of that that's about embracing the calm and the quiet and working through our feelings so that we're not ramped up and chaotic and feeling intense in that negative way. I think the other thing that we need to think about in terms of this card, and again, it comes from the idea of dogs. And so I'm saying animals because this talked about our animal soul friends. For me, animals are dogs. That's my pet, that's my friend. Um, we have cats, we've had lots of other animals, but it all, for me, it always comes back to a dog. It could be whatever it means for you. It doesn't mean anything necessarily. But also, so for me, again, the dog thing comes back to, especially those of us that are in winter months right now, are battling with seasonal depression. We're battling with being indoors. We're battling with the cold. We're battling with the darkness. And so those all lead into those intense and negative feelings that I was just talking about. So how do we work through those? A lot of times people get dogs, one, for the companionship, but sometimes we get them for the accountability of movement. And so if you got a dog so that you have to walk the dog and you're now responsible and accountable to this living being because they need a walk, that is your message to yourself that you need to be outside in the sunshine, warm or cold. You need to be getting out there so that you're getting the vitamin D and you're getting the fresh air and you're being able to move through and keep the positive coming at you versus the negative. So I think that this is your message to be outside, to get a walk, to do the movement. And that will allow you to either keep your heart open or get it open. We talked about that for the month of February. But as you move through the openness of your heart, you're giving and you're receiving love, you're spending time with your pets, you're spending time with your people, you are not allowing those either the seasonal depression or again those negative intense emotions move into your space. You're using your pet or not, or somebody else's pet or not, you're just getting outside. This is your message to get that movement. So you might think that, I took this card, I pulled this card called Animal Soul Friends, and then I turned it into this other thing that has to do with, caring for yourself, or um, how do you do that? Is it taking a walk? Is it spending time with your pet? Is it spending time with your people? Is it loving on your pets? Is it just having time to take care of yourself? And then stretch. So I stretched this card into something completely different, but I really wholeheartedly believe that that's what this comes back to, is how we are managing and taking care of ourselves. And so that also leads me to something that I have coming out. And so let me just share that quickly. I am releasing a self-care workshop. It is an asynchronous work at your own pace workshop. So it comes with a series of videos. It has a really cool looking workbook. It will have a custom meditation and then a digital affirmation poster. So all of those things, called Redefining Radiance, is a power pack, is what I'm calling it. It is about taking care of yourself and how do you remove the challenges and the roadblocks associated that are stopping you from actually doing the things that you need to do to take care of yourselves. And maybe some of it will be, yep, that makes sense. I just need to do that. And some of it might be, yeah, that was kind of simple, but it makes total sense. And I just hadn't thought about it. Two, maybe this is something I had not even considered and is pretty powerful and impactful. Each of the pieces, there are, I think, 5 different modules. Each of them will land a little bit differently for each of you. And so I'm really excited to share this with everyone. The workshop is only $44. It is currently in pre-sale. So it will launch in the next week or so. And if you buy it while it is in pre-sale, you also get a free gift, and that is a strategy call with me. So we get to spend a couple of minutes or a little bit of time digging into what is your challenge, what do you want to work on, and figuring out how to work you through that. How could you possibly resist a strategy call with me? So anyways, head over to my website. It is www.drtanyab.com. Under the programs, you will find the Redefining Radiance workshop, and then also the March blog post that I talked about earlier was there as well. I hope that you have a fabulous week. Reach out. I'd love to know how this lands for you. I love hearing when you share with me how it worked, how it didn't work, and what you got from it. So reach out. Let me know how you do. Have a great week.